Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be doing another quick and easy single hoop stuffy. This is Teddy the Tiger from OAD. Kelly released it last week and I'm just getting to it now, but better late than never. And I am going to be using a Pretty Furry Minky. It's a luxe Minky and it's got like a variegated look to it, and I've got a pretty white Minky for the belly, so it's gonna be nice and furry. And with Minky comes water soluble stabilizer. This is a single hooping stuffy, so it's really quick and super easy. So if you're a beginner, they're a great one to start with to sort of wet your feet on stuffy making. And if you're a veteran, it's just a quick and easy project to just pump right out. So we have it loaded in our hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and lay down the main fabric as well as a layer of water soluble stabilizer topper, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 1, which is our placement that will secure everything to the stabilizer. So I have my fabric tacked down to my stabilizer using the initial step 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 2, which is going to be the placement for the muzzle. So I've stitched step 2. Step 3 is going to be the tack down for the muzzle fabric. I'm just using a piece of fleece because the Minky would be a little too furry for the details, and I'll save the Minky for the belly. I've got that fabric secured, and then I'm going to use my double angled scissors to trim that fabric as closely as possible. I've trimmed the applique for the muzzle, and I'm going to do the step 4 placement for the belly applique next. So I have this step for the belly applique stitched out to show me where to place my fabric. I'm going to be using this furry Minky, so I'm going to use a layer of water soluble stabilizer on top to keep the foot from getting snagged in the fur. So I've gone ahead and tacked down my belly applique fabric. When appliquing with fur, it can be difficult to trim because of the pile. The most successful method I have done is to lift your fabric up so it's at a 90-degree angle from your hoop and trim there. So that way you get all of those fur strings, all the pile gets cut as well. So you'll have a nice clean applique. If you just leave it flat and cut it, I find you get a lot of the fur sticking out and it just makes it not quite as clean. So by lifting it 90-degree angle to what you're cutting, I find you get the best cut. So I've got the applique trimmed as best as I can, and I'm going to go and stitch step 6 and 7, which will do the satin stitch around both of these. So we have the satin stitch done for both. If you want to personalize, you can add your fonts in your software or on your machine if it allows. You can do this anytime after you've done the satin stitch, but before you've added the backing. The next steps are steps 8 through 15, which are all the details of the ears, the eyes, and the mouth. So we've stitched all these little details. The step 8 is the ear detail. Step 9 is the eyelashes. These are optional, so you can skip them if you prefer no eyelashes. I went ahead and did the rest of the details black, except for the eye color and the white sparkle, but they are separate, so you can choose to make the nose an accent color or make the whiskers a different color. And then we did the little sketchy stripes, which is sort of how a tiger is going to look a little bit. And then we finished with the eyes and the sparkle. So we're ready to add the backing, and we're just going to add it face down on top and run our final outline. So we have the final outline done, and I'm going to go ahead and cut with about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to cut perpendicularly into all of my curves to make sure I get nice turns. So you've taken them out of the hoop and removed most of the stabilizer, and we are going to cut them out. You don't want to leave too much of a seam allowance, especially on these single hoopers. They have a lot of little details because they're limited to everything being in one hoop. So you want to make sure you give a good small seam allowance, and you also want to cut perpendicularly on any tight curves in to release those limbs so they can be turned easy. So you just take your scissors and go directly into being very careful not to cut those final outline stitches, and just cut in perpendicularly. So we're going to turn this guy. I like to use a dowel to turn things, and some people like hemostats, but you can use your tool of your choice. And we'll get him stuffed up and all finished. So here he is, all finished up. He is super cute and adorable with his fur. Again, it's a single hooping stuffy that's super easy for beginners or quick projects for veterans. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know and we'll do our best to answer them. And if you have any requests for future tutorials or future stuffy requests, please let us know. Happy stitching, guys.